Hello, scholars. All right, this is the video that goes with lesson 3, which will help you with part of the source evaluation, which is a major grade for this week. This video is going to show you how to do the citations and summaries part of the source evaluation. So, you are working with the same objective this entire week, which is we will evaluate the strengths of our research sources as part of a source evaluation. In the previous video, it kind of went over the overview of the assignment, but this video is going to just show you about the first 2 requirements for each source on the source evaluation. So when you go to Google Classroom, it's going to give you the instructions. This video goes with day 1. So day 1, you should have watched the overview video, and then you should watch this video about how to do the summaries. You need a few things open. You're going to need your Holocaust Research Digital Source Evaluation document. So this is the actual document that's getting the major grade, which is attached here. And each of you should get your own copy of it automatically, and that's what you would submit at the end of the week for your major grade. So that would be this document here that looks like this. Okay. And then the second thing that you need opened is your Holocaust Research Digital Notes, which you should have bookmarked. You used this last week to add the citations, and you took notes on your sources before spring break. Most of you did. So that's the one that looks like this. So you need these 2 things open. Now, attached to this assignment is also the CP Source Evaluation Guide. And my example will also be attached. So you can also see my example, but the CP Source Evaluation Guide really gives you the overview. And this tells you that for each source, you have to have 3 things. You need to have the citation for the source, you need to have 1 paragraph summarizing the source, and you need to have 1 paragraph evaluating the source. This video is just about the first 2 parts. For the third part, you should look at the video called Lesson 4. So for the first 2 parts for this video, I'm going to go over these 2 and how to do these 2. Last week, you were asked to make your MLA citation. So the first part of it is really copying and pasting. And then you're going to look at the notes that you took about the source, and maybe you're going to go back and open the source again, and you're going to write a 5 to 7 sentence summary of what that source communicates or tells you. So all of your work is going to go on this document, which is the Holocaust Research Source Evaluation. You should fill this out with the MLA formatting. So you double click to get in the header. It says replace with your last name. I'm going to replace it with my last name. And I'm going to make sure there's 1 space before the page number. And then I need to just click out of the header. Then I'm going to put my first and last name here, carefully making sure I capitalize it. Underneath, I'm going to put my teachers' names. If you only have 1 teacher, me, then all you would put is Mrs. Pagano. But if you're in period 4, you also have a second teacher, so I would put Mrs. Rudder's name. English 1, that's done for me. And here I need to put the due date, and this due date would be Friday, which is actually the first day of May. Isn't that crazy? Already in May. And the date would be 2020. The last thing I need to do before I get started on the actual assignment for today is replace topic with my topic. I am writing about Virginia Hall. And I'm going to leave the end research source evaluation. That's a nice title. Okay. So now I'm just going to do my first, not the evaluation. I'm just going to do these 2 parts with my first source as an example for you. But you would need to complete these 2, and these 2 for today. And then on Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to complete this one, and this one. So the first thing I need is on my research digital notes, I need the citation for my first source, source A. So here I am, source A. Here is my works cited entry for source A. Copy, paste, done. Now I need to do my summary for source A. So when I do my summary for source A, I'm going to look at what I wrote in my notes, and I'm going to come up with a little summary about what this website taught me about Virginia Hall. So as I review my notes, I'm noticing that she was lesser known. She grew up in Baltimore. Her family was wealthy. I thought this was an important detail that this website told me about her, like kind of always from the beginning, liking to do outdoorsy things and things that were less traditionally female at that time. She liked to hunt. And then she wanted to be a diplomat, but it was challenging because she was a woman. So a lot of the things that she wanted to do went against what was normal for her gender at that time. So now I'm going to take all these and start my summary. So here, Virginia Hall was a lesser known spy who broke gender norms, spying on the Nazis during World War II. She grew up in a wealthy family in Baltimore, Maryland. She often enjoyed hunting and being in the outdoors as a child, although this went against gender norms at the time. She moved to Europe as a young adult and wanted to be a diplomat. However, she was unable to do so because it was not common for women to be diplomats at this time. Okay, and I'm just going to use my Grammarly like periodically to just check my work and make sure my grammar's all right. Okay, I keep going. Down here, I did see a quote that I'm really going to want to include, and I thought the website was useful because it had this quote about when she had her prosthetic leg. It actually made her really strong and resilient. But that's something I'm going to put in my evaluation. I'm not going to put it in my summary because I'm not going to quote anything in my summary. I just need to give like the basic overview. So I'll put the basic overview of that. During her time in Europe, she injured her leg while hunting and had to have it amputated. She wore a prosthetic leg after that. Shortly after this accident, Virginia became a spy for the British, working in France. Okay. All right. Now I'm going back to my notes to see what else I learned from this source. And so she often got away from the Gestapo, playing on their chauvinism. She was, to a certain extent, invisible. She changed her appearance. She moved around a lot. So I'm going to put some of these things in. She was successful as a spy by moving around a lot, changing her appearance, and using the Gestapo's chauvinism against them. And chauvinism is when you believe that, like, you believe a woman can't do something as well as a man. So a lot of the Gestapo would assume that, like, things that were happening weren't being done by a woman, because how could a woman do that? And I'm being sarcastic. And therefore, she would get away with things better than the Gestapo gave her credit for. This, I'm going to put the British government because it's not letting, it doesn't sound right if it says the British. And now I have too many. Okay. The last few details I'm going to include. She was really pursued and had to escape by walking to France with her wooden prosthetic leg. And then later on, she joined the CIA, but it wasn't really as rewarding for her because she really enjoyed being in the field. So those are the last two details I'm going to include in my summary. When she became heavily pursued by the Gestapo, she had to escape by walking 3 days to Spain. And after her escape to Spain, despite the danger, she still wanted to return to France. Later, after the war, she was celebrated and awarded a position at the CIA. She did not enjoy this position as much as being a spy in the field. Okay. And now I just clean up my grammar. I'm all good. Awarded, return. I think these are all spellings. Yeah. All right. So the part that you're doing today really is just making sure you have the correct citation and then making sure that you have a 5 to 7 sentence summary. I have way more than 5 to 7 sentences. I could probably go back and make it a little shorter. But it really does tell all the details that I learned from this source, and it's an indication of just how many notes I took from this source. The more notes you have, the better you're going to be able to fill out your paper. If you have any questions, please email me. If you would like me to look at what you have, please email me. If you need any help and you'd want to meet, like with a Google Meet or over the phone, email me. The last thing that you want to do too is just make sure